My name is Andy, and this is the most magical podcast on earth. When I'm not on holiday at Walt Disney World, I'm planning a holiday to Disney. And when I'm not planning a holiday to Disney, I'm talking about Disney with other UK fans like me who make the trip to Orlando and the House of the Mouse. So if you too are mad about Mickey, then this is the podcast for you. Or maybe you're the Disney novice just thinking about or maybe planning your first trip to Walt Disney World and you think that FastPass is the name of your local driving school, then this really is the podcast for you. Every week, I'll be chatting to other Disney superfans from around the UK to share their memories of magical times. And this week, we talk to Hannah, who will go to every length to get that restaurant reservation.
I was like, if you don't want to go, me and Liz, my sister will go, and you guys don't have to come with us. So I was like, I am going to Ohana.
Also going to be answering your Walt Disney World questions, and this week, a special news roundup featuring some previous podcast guests. And make sure you keep in touch with us as well. Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, we are at PodMagical. This is the most magical podcast on earth as part of the Secret Recordings Network here with a brand new episode, which we are going to continue to do, by the way, through these strange times. One of the questions that I always ask podcast guests is, what is it that you love about Walt Disney World? And mostly the answer is, it's just an escape from reality and just a little bit of time to forget about the outside world. Well, hopefully this podcast might just give you half an hour of escapism. We'll chat to new guests every week. We will share their memories and we'll think about, the plans that we can make in the future. If you're new to the podcast, we've got loads of guests with previous stories and tips to catch up on if you want to go past through those. As I mentioned, we have also got a bit of a news special about some previous guests who've got some very exciting good news for us. And we've got some of your top tips as well. Now, I'm answering questions every week on the podcast. If you've got a question, whether it comes to planning, don't forget I am not a medical expert and I'm not a travel expert. I'm just a fan of Walt Disney World, but I'll do my best to answer questions. But this week, I have got an answer to a question that comes through quite a lot. Thank you to Chris, who's been in touch. A question we get quite a lot is how, if you're only going for a very, very short amount of time, how do you get a one-day ticket online in advance before you go? Chris has found a nice little online life hack. If you go to the Disney official ticket website via your phone, you can change the location that you are browsing from to the US, which then allows you to buy park tickets in single days. And also, if you've got a free VPN, you can use that to browse in America. That has got the same effect as well. Thank you to Chris. It worked for him. He managed to get that one-day ticket. So there you go. You can get your one-day ticket and you can still book your fast passes in advance rather than just having to wait until you actually get there and not being able to book those fast passes. Thank you, Chris, for that top tip. If you've got any tips or any questions, or you would like to be a podcast guest like this week's guest, Hannah, who we're going to talk to now, give me a shout. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, we are at PodMagical. So, Hannah, what is it that you love about Walt Disney World? What is it about thinking about Disney that just puts that smile on your face?
For me, it's Magic Kingdom, and it's walking in, seeing the castle and just knowing that you're not at home. You're away from all of the troubles at home, all the stresses, all the blues. I know Disney World can be stressful, but for me, it's just all of the stress is gone and there's nothing apart from rides, Mickey, fun, family. So I think that's what it just makes me feel at peace. It's really weird, but I love it.
I suppose it is a different kind of stress though when you get people shoving in front of you at the fireworks. You appreciate it, I think.
Yeah, and I don't think I've had it too bad with pushing and shoving. I mean, the last trip I went on was rammed and I wasn't expecting it, but I think I'm just ignore people, plan my fast passes, and if I need to leave, then I can get out of there. So I just feel like if I've got everything planned, there's no stress.
And you only got back, it was earlier this year you went on your last trip, wasn't it?
Yeah, so I went on a trip. I just got back from a week-long or 8-night trip on the 1st of March. So I also went in July for 2 weeks. So it's been 2 trips in about 8 months.
Oh, almost back to back.
Yeah. So I had a trip planned for 2 years with my older sister and her family. So we had 2 little ones with us a few years ago, and we went in July, and I loved it so much that I got the Disney blues, and I was like, I think I'm just going to go again. So then this time round, I took my younger sister and my parents, and I was like, you've got to come with me. I have to go. Yeah. This is the cheapest way, so you're all coming with me.
Yeah, just more people in the villa or whatever. But I bet there was a lot of new stuff that you did this year that wasn't open in summer last year.
Last year, because I went with my sister, husband, and the 2 little ones, the oldest was 4. He was 4 years old when we went, and the littlest one was 9 months. So our whole trip was based around like things that they could do together. So I did 0 big coasters. I didn't do Mine Train. I didn't do anything big on that first trip.
Yeah.
So this time around, I was like, I need to do Space Mountain. I hadn't done Space Mountain. I didn't do Mine Train. I didn't do Rocking Roller Coaster or Tower of Terror. So the second time round was like an adults trip with the big roller coasters or big rides, and the last one was like shows, everything my niece and nephew would enjoy. So they were like 2 completely different trips, and also like the heat was different as well. But there's lots of new stuff now. So we initially went last year to go to Star Wars Land, but then we found out after we booked our trips and everything that it wasn't going to open until like 3 weeks after we left. So we couldn't change anything. So second time round, I got to go to Star Wars Land and do those rides as well.
And you got to do Rise of the Resistance.
Yep, we did Rise of the Resistance. It was incredibly stressful trying to get my dad out of the villa at like 6 o'clock in the morning to get there on time. And then getting the tickets. I thought all of the parks would have been busy in the summer.
Yeah.
But going 2 weeks ago, all of the parks were like 10 times busier for some reason. I don't know why, but Hollywood Studios was busy every day we went. And I think I went 3 times in that trip, and it was so busy all of the time.
Did you get to do Rise of the Resistance 3 times?
No, just once.
Just
it was only getting me into that park at that early one time. The rest of the time I was like, I'll stick with my fast passes. So yeah, we sort of changed our plans in the week to go a day earlier to try and get the boarding passes instead of waiting on, because initially I'd planned to go on the Friday and get boarding pass on the Friday, but I realised if we didn't get them, we had no time to go back. So we did it the day before, got the boarding passes, and then the Friday when we went back to Hollywood Studios, it was a bit more relaxed.
So what time were you in the parks? What time could you get the boarding pass? And what time did you get the boarding pass?
So we got into the parks for 7:30.
Okay.
We could get boarding passes at 8 o'clock on the dot. We got our boarding passes straight away, and we were in group 21.
That's good.
Yeah, it was really good. So I was on my phone trying to get it on, and my sister was on her phone because she was linked into my Disney Experience app, and she got on straight away, clicked us all, and was done. So we were like, I think we were probably the first cheer that I heard in the area that we were in. I was like, oh my gosh, we've got them. So we were group 21. We got on the ride at 10:30. No, I think we got the notification. It was about quarter past 10. We got told we could go. So we went and we queued for about, I know I heard someone last week. I've binged all the podcasts. So I listened to someone the other day, and he got in like 45 minutes. It took a lot longer for us to get on the ride. It took us about an hour and 15 minutes in the queue to get to the first part of the ride. We did the first part and second part because it's broken down into 3 parts. And then just as we were getting onto the ride, it broke down.
No.
So, yep. We were like, they queued us up and they were shouting at us and making us feel really bad for being rebels. I hope that's not a spoiler, but guys, you're a rebel if you go on the ride. And then they looked at us and they went, we don't want to break character, but the ride has gone down, so you're going to have to leave. We were like,
no.
We were so close. And the thing is, we'd done the first 2 parts, so I was completely immersed in it, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is going to be great. So they kind of gave us all fast passes, so they have a separate fast pass queue for incidents like this.
Yeah.
And then they were like, once you look on the app and you see the boarding group going up, come back, use your fast pass, and you'll get straight on to the start of the ride again. So we waited 40 minutes. I don't think we did anything. I think we just went and sat down and sat in the sun for a little bit, and then got back on the ride about 11 o'clock, went straight on, did the first and second part again, and then did the extraordinarily exciting bit, and it was great.
It was worth all the fuss and the waiting and the...
Yeah, it was. I mean, I think because other people got on the ride the second time with us and hadn't got on, so they didn't know what to expect, whereas we got on and actually could do it. There's like the second part, we got to do it one way the first time and then look a different direction the second time, and actually got much more out of it. It seemed a lot more real because we kind of knew what was going on, and we could look around and take in all of, well, for me anyway, I could take in all of what was going on, and actually I enjoyed it a bit more doing it the second time. But everyone else didn't know what was happening, so they're like, what's happening? I was like, hold on. and then you'll be okay.
So would you say, having done that, because that's the big ride that everybody's talking about at the minute, Rise of the Resistance at Hollywood Studios, would you say that is now your favourite attraction, or is there another ride that you still prefer?
I thought about this. I sat with my sister and we were like, what do we prefer? Because I specifically wanted to do Flight of Passage before, because I'd heard Rise of the Resistance is better than Flight of Passage. So I didn't want to ruin Flight of Passage and do Rise of the Resistance first and then Flight of Passage and my family be a bit disappointed. But I have to say, I still prefer Flight of Passage. And it took me 2 days to realise that. But I think there's something about the smells and the experience, and I just feel really free on Flight of Passage.
Yeah.
Whereas Rise of Resistance is a little bit stressful, and I was like, I don't know what's happening, and it's amazing. It's a brilliant ride, and I can't wait to take my brother-in-law on it because he loves Star Wars, and I would happily do it again, happily do it multiple times. But I think my favourite is still Flight of Passage.
At Pandora, Animal Kingdom.
Yeah, it is. It's just amazing.
So when was the first time you went to Walt Disney World?
I think it's really bad because I'm going to sound terrible, and most people say this and they're like too, but I think I was 16 when I went for the first time. I'd done Paris before, and I'm pretty sure we'd done Los Angeles before we'd done Florida.
Oh, right.
So we went to Florida. That was the third one that I'd done. And I have about 2 memories of my time there, and I think it's because we did all of Orlando. So we stayed nowhere near the parks. We did a lot more Universal, and I think we maybe did 2 days of Magic. We did Magic Kingdom, Epcot, and we also did SeaWorld and lots of other places. But I was speaking to my sister before I went, and I realised I can't remember much of Walt Disney World.
Oh, right.
I remember going on the Ellen ride in Epcot. And I remember...
Sadly no longer with us.
No, and I was like, oh, it's not here anymore. I specifically remember the ball, and I remember like the big Epcot golf ball. I remember seeing it, and I remember the parade at Magic Kingdom and doing Buzz Lightyear. But other than that, I can't remember. I don't know if I've blocked it out or if I just have a really bad memory. So for me, going in July last year was like... everything felt new to me because I felt like I hadn't remembered any of it, and it was just a completely new experience. And as an adult, I literally loved it so much. It was amazing.
So it was last year the second time you went?
So last year was the second time I went. So I went when I was 16, and then I went again last year at 28. So it'd been a 12-year gap as well. And I think I just thought, oh, Disney World, I'd like to go. I'd always said I want to go on my honeymoon, and that's not happened yet. So I was like, well, I'm going to have to push it forward and go now. Otherwise, I might be 45 or it might never happen.
Can't be making excuses.
I can't be making excuses. So I was like, we were like, Star Wars Land, we're going to go. My brother-in-law loves it. It's going to be great. My nephew is 4. He'll remember some bits of it. So it was completely new, and it was, I think, me being the adult and organising it all was completely different than compared to what I probably experienced with my mum, who we went and we did it, but I didn't have to plan anything. This time around, the planning was completely like off the charts.
Let's talk about planning then, as we're onto a planning. When you've got kids, what is your strategy? With
the kids, we definitely decided to do as many rides together that all of the kids could go on. So Magic Kingdom's pretty good. There's only a couple that are limited, but pretty much all of them we could take the baby on with us in the sling. So we picked like Peter Pan, all the sort of, I looked up what rides would be good to go on. So I got fast passes for my brother-in-law and little nephew for Mine Train. Yeah. I didn't go on it because I was like, oh no, I'll let them go and enjoy it. But so that was like the biggest one, which I got fine. There was no stress getting the fast passes. But we picked rides that we could all do together. Day 60, because we were staying on property. Right. I went online and FaceTime my brother-in-law and sister and picked all of our fast passes all in advance, got them all for the whole 10 days that we were there. So that was really easy, and all of the parks have something that little kids can go on, so pretty much all of our fast passes were for those things. The second time around, I was on it at 12 o'clock on day 60 and I picked all of the big rides. I was like, I've listened to dozens of podcasts, I have watched dozens of videos on YouTube about Walt Disney World. I know what I'm doing, and I got my Slinky Dog Dash, got my Mine Train, I got two Two Flight of Passage.
Two Flight of Passage.
Two Flight of Passage. I was like, right, I'm doing that roller coaster that's in Animal Kingdom that I didn't go on. So I was like, I'm getting Everest. We're going to do Dinosaur. I made sure I got the roller coasters. We didn't get Tower of Terror because I was like, I don't like drop rides. So I didn't get Tower of Terror, but I got Rockin' Roller Coaster. I got everything and just planned it out that way. So I made sure I got them all on day 60. I think I may have been off sick from work, unfortunately, that day. So I was able to... It was an awful coincidence, but I was able to be on at 12 o'clock to just get those fast passes. Annoyingly, though, for the most recent trip, we booked it after the 180 days. So once I got my tickets and everything, the restaurant bookings were already open.
Yeah.
So I couldn't technically get the ones I wanted. So I wanted Ohana and Be Our Guest for any quick service. And they were all gone at that point. So what I just did was I went on pretty much every day and looked for those reservations on my app. Once a Ohana one came up, I grabbed it for whatever day it was. I think it was on like a Tuesday at 9 p.m. And my parents were like, I'm not eating at 9 o'clock. And I got my... I was like, you will eat there. I was like, if you don't want to go, me and Liz, my sister will go, and you guys don't have to come with us. So I was like, I am going to Ohana. I heard so much about it last time and we couldn't do it, so I have to do it. But then I spent time after that going on the app and checking to see if I could make the booking earlier. So I'd go on, I'd be like, oh, can I modify the booking? And so I got it down to like 8 o'clock in the evening, which would have been firework time. So we probably should have stuck with that booking. But then once we got to the parks, I was on my app all the time looking for different times to go eat. We were changing things up. So I got to change my both of my restaurant recommendations. So instead of going at 8 o'clock at night for the first time we went to Ohana, I got it at 5:30. And it was perfect time. Yeah, it was quiet. It was great. We ate there. And then I happened to, we were on the dining plan. So the dining plan with one quick service and one sit down meal credit. And it meant that we decided on our last night that we wanted to go back to Ohana. So I sat on my phone for a few hours and I got myself another reservation, brought it at 9 o'clock, and I brought it down to like 4:30 at some point. So we got to go for a second time. It is 100% possible. And same with fast passes. I didn't realise when we went in July that you could get more than 3 fast passes. So I obviously hadn't been listening to enough information. So we'd do our 3 fast passes and then leave the parks because I wasn't queuing. Yeah, we were not queuing. And with the kids, we were like, we're not waiting 2-hour long queues for anything. So we'd just leave the parks and do stuff around the hotel and things like that. But then the second time around, I was like, right, as soon as we tapped in for our 3rd fast pass, I was like on the app again, looking for fast passes, picking whatever I could, getting onto things like a 2nd and 3rd time. So we did Rockin' Roller Coaster. I got 2 Tower of Terror fast passes. And the queues were like 2 hours long and I was still getting fast passes. So I got my fast pass, looked at the queue. I was like, okay, that's 2 hours. By the time I get back for this fast pass, these people wouldn't have got on the ride yet. Yeah. So it worked out brilliantly, and I definitely was more proficient with my app skills the second time around and will be in the future. But getting those extra fast passes were great. They were a lifesaver. They kept us in the parks, kept us busy.
Disney World pro. You've got it down.
Oh, I feel like I am now. First time around, I thought I was. I was like, I know how to do fast passes. But now I'm like, guys, I know how to. I was like removing my dad from things because he wasn't in the mood for roller coasters. I was like, right, no, I can get stuff for 3 people. Going to be easier to get for 3 than for 4. It worked out really well.
Proper pro. I want to find out about what your favourite Walt Disney World restaurant is, but I have a feeling I think we might know the answer. We'll be back with this week's guest, Hannah, in just a sec. Usually at this point in the podcast is where I give you updates from news that's going on from Disney parks and Walt Disney World. At the moment, I think it's best that I leave news to the official Disney announcements. Make sure you are following Disney Parks on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. Disney Parks is the one place you need to go for official news that is coming from Disney. So I'm going to leave it up to them at the moment, but I have got some good news to share with you because we need a bit of good news right now. From previous podcast guests, going back to our very first episode 1. Remember Sophie? She was the one who got that free stay at Grand Floridian. If you want to know how she did that, then scroll back to episode 1. She was also telling me about how She was really trying to persuade her boyfriend to take her to Disney for something special.
I need a hand, right? So I'm trying to convince my other half, Sam, to take me for our honeymoon. He's never been to America before, so he's like, oh, we should go to New York, maybe we should go to LA. And I'm like, no, you need to have the full American experience. You need to have it full blown, all the goodness, all of the amazingness of Disney. Let's start high, let's aim for the stars. And he's just like, yeah, but do you really want to just spend all that time in theme parks? And that's when I'm like, you just don't get it.
He's not been, has he?
You don't get it. You don't get it unless you've been.
And the good news is from Sophie that her boyfriend, husband-to-be, Sam, did surprise her the other week with a trip to Walt Disney World. The honeymoon is booked for the end of the year, staying at Animal Kingdom Lodge. There you go, you got a good one there. Also going back to episode 4, Mark, he was the big Indiana Jones fan and he was so young and always wanted to be in the show, but he was too young and eventually he got to be in a show. And we were talking about, like, what was the youngest age? Would you take a baby to Walt Disney World?
I went 4 going on 5 and it was perfect, you know. I don't remember everything, and I remember the feeling and how happy I was being there.
So when you have your first kids, how old will they be when will you be like taking them straight away?
Oh yeah, 6 months. It's great. I'll just have to bring the parents so that they can look after the kid while I go on Space Mountain. And
congratulations to Mark and his wife who welcomed little baby boy Jack into their lives just a few weeks ago. I don't think they booked that trip to Walt Disney World yet. I think they're just waiting. If you have been a former podcast guest, there's been so many, and you've got some good news you'd like to share, then give me a shout. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, we are at PodMagical. Or maybe you would like to be a future podcast guest like this week's guest, Hannah, then give me a shout. So, Hannah, let's go back to restaurants. Now, you've been to Ohana. You got those 2 bookings at Ohana. I'm guessing when it comes to restaurants at Walt Disney World, Ohana's your favourite.
Yeah, I think so. So, we did Ohana twice. We should have only got it once because of luck. But luckily, we got it twice and it was amazing. And the food there was really, really good. The other place that we went to that my mum really liked, and my mum is the most picky person with food. Every time we went somewhere, I worried that she wasn't going to like something. She's so picky. But the other place we went to is Mama Melrose.
Hollywood Studios.
In Hollywood Studios, yeah. So I booked the Fantasmic dining package.
Yeah.
So I was like, let me get this package. And the only place available was Mama Melrose. And actually, the food in there was really, really good. My mum loved it. My sister had like steak. And on the dining plan, that's like the best value. My dad had his fish because he needs fish every day. So we all got something that we liked and we were full up and it like lasted us for the rest of the evening. We didn't need to have another meal. So
if you've got picky eaters, Mama Melrose at Hollywood Studios is where you need to be going.
Yeah, I think so. It's like pasta. It's really good, like Italian food. The wait staff in there were funny. Like the waitress that we had, she was really great, and she kept us on our toes and chatting to us. And I hadn't heard about it before, so I thought, I wasn't sure because I watch a lot of YouTube videos about where's good to eat, and they always pick the same sort of places like the Ohanas and places like that. And I hadn't really heard much about there, but I thought the food was really good quality. I couldn't finish it. It was huge portions. It was great.
What about places to stay then? You said you stayed on site. Have you got a favourite hotel?
So we stayed Caribbean Beach the first time and then Animal Kingdom the second time. We were lucky with Animal Kingdom because we got upgraded to a Savannah room. So we technically paid for just a standard view. And when we got there, we got upgraded to a Savannah view room. So I think if you're going there, you're paying for that Savannah view because we got up every morning and could look at the giraffes, and that was great. I felt like it was actually a bit more run down than Caribbean Beach, but I think because when I went to Caribbean Beach, they just finished overhauling the whole place, so like everything felt new and fresh. I think if I went back again, in terms of costs, I would go back to Caribbean Beach, especially now that it has the Skyliner. I'm so excited to go back for the Skyliner and just be able to get on it and be in Epcot in like 10 minutes, less than 10 minutes. Studios. Yeah, it's so much easier. And Animal Kingdom is so far out that you can only get buses. Like my dad wanted there to be like a walkway between the hotel and Animal Kingdom.
I think there should be.
There should be because we would have got there quicker than the buses because there was queues for, you could miss a bus and you've got another 2. And although the buses came a bit more frequently because it was closer, it would have taken us 10 minutes to walk there and we would have been there in no time. And I think it would reduce fuel costs and everything like that. But I really liked Caribbean Beach, and I think comparing it to a deluxe, Animal Kingdom is probably the cheapest of the deluxes that you can get. And we got it on a really good deal. Like when I was booking last minute, it was either Animal Kingdom or one of the Valley resorts, but the Valley resort was more expensive
than Animal Kingdom.
It was really weird. For a 4-person room, it was more expensive to go to Art of Animation than it was to go to Animal Kingdom. So I was like, well, I'm going to Animal Kingdom, and the dining plan was a better dining plan. Art of Animation didn't have the dining plan included with it. So that's why I was like, that's the deal that I'm going for. And I didn't think we'd ever be able to go there.
Was that the free dining plan you got then?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got the free dining plan. So I've done both. I've done quick service and the normal dining plan. The normal dining plan, although it is really nice to be able to go to restaurants, it's more expensive because you have to pay for tips on top of that. Yeah, and I don't think we 20%. Always needed... And it's a lot of money. Like, if we went with Ohana, that's an extra $40 that we had to pay on top of it. I knew that I had to save... each of us had to have $70 minimum for tips for the week that we were there. But it adds on. Whereas with the quick service, you can actually find really, really good quick service places to eat, which don't feel like you're at a takeaway place, and get really good quality food and really enjoy yourself. So I think next time we go, we're going to be happy with the quick service dining plan.
So was there quite a big price difference between staying at Caribbean Beach and Animal Kingdom? Was it massively different? Because obviously Caribbean Beach is moderate and you got a deluxe at Animal Kingdom.
Because we went in the summer and we went for 10 days, I find it, I can't work out comparably different what it was. But looking now, it's still more expensive to go to Caribbean Beach so we want to go again in the summer. It is more expensive to go to Caribbean Beach than it was to go to Animal Kingdom when we got that deal for February. But I think it's just looking around, because I'm wondering if all of the other hotels were booked up, and because Animal Kingdom is going through refurbishments, they weren't sure about what room availability they had. And then realised, we've got loads of rooms available, let's just chuck them on the website for this amount, and I managed to grab one. But Animal Kingdom is really nice. It's a really nice hotel. It takes your breath away when you walk in. I just liked Caribbean Beach a little bit more.
I think Animal Kingdom Lodge, because I've stayed there, but I found I loved it and I enjoyed it and it was nice seeing the animals. But I think it's a one and done. If you go back quite a few times, go, okay, I've stayed here now. But like you say, in terms of transportation,
it's just so far away.
Yeah.
Like, you're looking at half an hour to, if it's bad, because we were also there on the marathon day, you're looking at half an hour at least to get to Magic Kingdom. And it's like, when you want to get there for a rope drop and you've got plans, you want to get there as quickly as possible. And I feel like Caribbean Beach is more central. I think a lot of the other deluxe hotels are close to Magic Kingdom, and they've got the price tag for that. And I'd much rather say somewhere central where I can get anywhere in a shorter time than be really far out and take ages to get anywhere other than the one park that's close to me.
Outside Disney, did you venture off anywhere else to get any other favourite things to do around Orlando?
No.
So just Disney.
I know it's really annoying. I was like, I wish I'd done something so I could add to this part of the podcast.
No, it's great. I appreciate your honesty.
Yeah, in July, my sister's family, my brother-in-law, my brother-in-law likes space, so they went to the NASA, Kennedy Space Center for a day, and I stayed at home to chill because I was like, I need a child-free day, and I want to go to the outlets. So I do go to the outlets though. That is something I do.
Do you get some good bargains out there?
Yeah.
Vineland, is it?
Yeah, go to Vineland and the Disney Character Warehouse.
Yeah.
I think it's great. I watch the videos every week on YouTube about what's in the warehouse, so I was kind of aware of what things were there and what I wanted to pick up. And I got more stuff in the warehouse than I did at the shop for, I think, half the price or even less. So when there's good deals, there's really good deals. And I think if you go at a good time, like maybe in the day or quite early on, the place is quite quiet and you're not fighting people for things. But I wanted new mini ears and I got those for $8 instead of $30. I got a onesie which was meant to be $65 and I got it for $25. So there's lots of little bargains. Sometimes it's not so great, but I really enjoy going to the outlets. Yeah, it's definitely hit and miss, but if people wanted to go there and they wanted to see what was available, there's videos online every day. Someone's going there to post what's available, so you can see what's coming up the week before you go and see what you like.
Have you got your eye on going back? You say this summer?
Next summer. So we want to go 2021 because I turn 30 next year, and my dad turns 70, so I'm trying to make it a joint 100th birthday thing. Not that he cares, but I'm like, it's our 100th birthday, Dad, so let's go to Disney. Exactly. And that time around, my sister and her family are going to come as well, so there'll be a bigger group of us, and that means we can possibly do the Star Wars hotel, possibly.
Oh, if you can get in. Wait,
if
they
we
say
can
it's
get
not
in.
a hotel, though, don't they?
No, it's like a cruise. Yeah, like cruise, like all-inclusive thing. If we can do that, I think me and my brother-in-law might do it with the kids. But I think it'll be pretty much impossible to get in it in the first year, if I'm honest.
And expensive.
And it's going to be really expensive. But yeah, we want to go 2021, maybe July, because there was actually, although it was really hot, it was much quieter in July than it was in February, so that was a bit weird. It was so busy this time round. So yeah, we want to go in July, but that's a long way for me, so I'm always keeping my eye out for maybe a deal in like end of this. If coronavirus like knocks out my holiday that I have planned this year, I will be going back to Disney at the end of the year, maybe early January, if I can persuade a friend to go with me, because I can't go by myself. Even if I wanted to, I haven't got the guts to go by myself. So I have to
maybe
persuade
one
someone
day.
to go with me.
Maybe
one
the
day.
kids. You can't leave the kids.
Yeah, it's just,
Mummy's leaving you because I'm going to Disney.
Yep. I wish if I lived in America, I would do that all the time. I'd be like, guys, this is your grandparents, you're staying with them, and we're going to Disney for a long weekend. But
Bye.
100%. But it's a bit too far for my brain to comprehend to go for less than a week.
Yeah.
A week is short enough. It's just about enough time to do Disney, for me anyway, because I want to try and do everything. As many rides, you can never do all of Disney World, as we learn every week. You can't do it all.
Yeah.
It will take years to do it all. But yeah, I would like to go back maybe towards the end of this year, but definitely July, August 2021 for the 50th.
Yes.
As everyone likes to say, we're going for the 50th.
The mystery 50th.
The mystery 50th, where we don't know what's happening. What's like, the prices could go up. They might not do anything when we're there, so we'll plan to go for the 50th, and then they won't do anything in July. There'll be some new rides open. Guardians of the Galaxy will be open. Fingers crossed. It's in 2021, so I'm hoping, and it's coming along. Like the building of it is coming, like the whole shell was done at the moment, so we kept walking around there, and hoping Epcot was a bit less construction-y, because it was really construction-y when we went in February, and you couldn't spend that much time there unless you're doing the World Showcase. You do your rides and you go. It's just not very nice.
No, well, that's a good thing if you're staying at Caribbean Beach, because you'll come in at the World Showcase entrance, so you don't need to go through the main entrance that's basically not there anymore. Yeah,
100%. And I like the World Showcase, and we managed to catch right at the end of the Arty Festival.
Festival of the Arts, yeah.
Festival of the Arts. We got like the last 2 days, so I managed to get myself a painting, and we got to try some different food. And it was different being there in the festival period than in the summer where there's nothing going on. It was much busier. There was a lot more people.
Lovely chatting to you. And you know what I'm going to say now?
Magical, have a day.
Same words, different order. Have a magical day.
Thanks. Bye.
If you would like to be a podcast guest, then just give me a shout. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, we are at PodMagical. We may not be able to go to Walt Disney World, but we can still talk about it. And don't forget to subscribe to the podcast as well. If you're new, there's loads to go back through to keep you occupied. And if you hit that subscribe button as well, you will get the new podcast coming through every Friday. We're going to continue talking about Walt Disney World. We'll continue with the podcast. We are going to have a quick Easter break, though. So importantly, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the next one after the Easter break when we come back, but it will be regular podcasts every Friday. I'm going to leave you with a top tip of the week this week, and I think this is a good time to do a bit of planning. So have a look at things like touring plans, have a look at the crowd calendars, have a look when the time is the busiest, when you can go, when you can't go. Now's the time just to maybe get a little bit of research in and get that excitement building. This is the time to do it now. If you've got any top tips of your own, give me a shout. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, PodMagical. And don't forget, on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify, hit that subscribe button. If you could give us a 5-star review as well, that would be brilliant. And until next time, please stand clear of the doors.